Good day, everyone. So this time we're going to discuss on parallelism and perpendicularity, a topic on mathematics 8. So before we're going to start, let's have, or I think some of you have already an idea what parallelism and perpendicularity is all about. But before we're going to start, let's have the objectives of our lesson. We have defined and illustrate perpendicular lines and parallel lines, of course. Apply the concept of perpendicular lines to solve for the unknown angles. Identify angles formed by two lines and a transversal. Determine and apply the properties of parallel lines cut by a transversal, and solve for the measure of the angles formed when parallel lines are cut by a transversal. So at the end of the discussion, I will be expecting that you will already be able to answer questions related to those topics. So to start with, let's have definition of terms, starting with perpendicular lines. So what are perpendicular lines? So when we say perpendicular lines, these are two lines that intersect to form a right angles. So by the symbol for perpendicular lines is this one. Okay, it's an inverted T. Now, what are the conditions that we need to consider when we are talking about perpendicular lines? So when we say perpendicular lines, that is actually two lines that intersect and forming a right angle. So how are we going to identify if the two angles or if the angle formed is a right angle? So kanang small box. The small box serves as our guide, or this is a symbol for right angles. So from this illustration, we can say that line M is perpendicular to line N. So the horizontal line is line M and the vertical line is line N. And by the way, it does not necessarily mean nga dapat horizontal or vertical siya. Pwede siya slanting ang duha ka line. Basta you just have to make sure that they form a right angle. Okay, next is we have parallel lines. So when we say parallel lines, so the symbol for parallel lines are two lines. Straight, pwede siya vertical, pwede siya slanting actually, pero dili pwede horizontal. Kaya kung horizontal siya, mura siya equal sign. So when we say parallel lines, these are two or more lines equidistant from each other. Meaning, no matter how far you extend the two lines, it will never intersect. So for example, we have this one. Okay, line M. So from that symbol, we have line M is perpendicular to line N. So some cases, class, pwede siya makonsider. Okay, so we have, sometimes we can say that the two lines are parallel kung naa ni siya nga symbol ay. Okay, so for example, kana. Na siya usa ka arrow, nga naasad siya usa ka arrow. Meaning that two lines are parallel, or pwede sad duha ka arrow diri. Okay? So pwede sad siya again. Duha ka arrow, or kung duha ka arrow ang isa ka linya. Okay, so for example, kana siya duha ka arrow. Dapat kani nga line duha ka arrow sad to show that the two lines are parallel. Okay, next. Okay, let's have another definition of terms, starting with the transversal. When we say transversal, this is a line that intersects two or more lines in a plane at different points. So two or more lines meaning it could be 2, 3, 4, 5, and so on, number of lines. Once a particular line intersects those lines, then we call it transversal lines. So we have this illustration. So the two lines meant here is the line M and line N. And of course, we have line Q is considered as a transversal line. It intersects, okay, so it intersects line M at this particular points. Next is alternate interior angles. So when can we say that the two angles are considered as alternate interior? So alternate interior angles are interior or two interior angles found on different sides of a transversal. So meaning, so what are the sides of the transversal actually? Or by the way, so we have, from this illustration, angle 4, angle 5, and angle 8 is on one side of the transversal, while angle 2, we have angle 2, angle 3, angle 6, and angle 7 are another side of the transversal. Now, what are the example of alternate interior angles? So we have angle 4 and angle 6. And angle 3 and angle 5. Now, what makes them alternate interior? So, observe. We have here, so si angle 4, it's on the left side of the transversal line, while si angle 6 is naa siya sa right side. Now, another pair is we have the angle 3 and angle 5. So, si angle 3 is naa siya sa right side, then this time si angle 5 naa sa left side. So, in two lines cut by a transversal, you will be able to see two different pairs of alternate interior angles. So, of course, kung naay interior, naa sa tay exterior. So, when we say alternate exterior angles, these are two exterior angles found on different sides of the equation. So, let's have here. So, for example, kaning we have si angle 1. Ang pair ni angle 1 is si angle 7. Kay from that illustration, we have angle 1, okay? Angle 1, angle 2, angle 7, and angle 8 are considered exterior angles. So we have the first pair, angle 1 and angle 7. Now, the other pair is we have this one, si angle 2, then paired with angle 8. So again, there will be two pairs of alternate exterior angles. So the number of pair of exterior angles depende sa line, number of lines being intersect by the transversal. Okay, next is we have corresponding angles. So when can we say that the two angles are corresponding angles? These are pair of interior and exterior angles found on the same side of the transversal. So we have here, I am using the same illustration. So we have from the illustration, line M and line M with line Q as our transversal. So that the corresponding angles are, we have angle 2 and angle 6. So, si angle 2 is exterior, angle 6 is interior, and they are on one side of the transversal line, the right side. Next is we have angle 3 and angle 7. So, same side. Next, angle 1 and angle 5, and we have angle 4 and angle 8. So, when two lines is cut by a transversal, then we are going to create four pairs of corresponding angles. So out of those definitions, we can create postulates and theorems to some specific lines intersect or cut by a transversal. So let's start with corresponding angles postulate. So corresponding angles postulate states that if two lines are parallel and cut by a transversal, then the corresponding angles are congruent. So let's have an example, or let's have the illustration. Line M is parallel to line N and line Q is a transversal. By the way, even if tanaw na to sa illustration, parallel line siya without the statement, okay? So take note of this one. Without the statement stating that the two lines are parallel, we cannot assume. So again, in geometry, di pwede mo assume. Dapat naagyo statement or even a figure or geometric figure shows that the two lines are parallel. Then we have line Q is a transversal. So what do we mean by corresponding angles postulate? It states that if two lines are parallel, cut by a transversal, then corresponding angles are congruent. So which means, using the concept of corresponding angles postulate, we can create a conclusion that angle 1 is congruent to angle 5. That's one pair of corresponding angles. Angle 4 and angle 8. Angle 2 and angle 6. And we have angle 3 and angle 7. Meaning, the two angles are, or the pairs of corresponding angles are congruent. That is by corresponding angles postulate, or CAP. CAP as in cow. Next is we have an example of the corresponding angle postulate. So using that the same illustration, for example, you have this. In the figure, line M is parallel to line N, is cut by a transversal line Q. If angle 1 is equal to 110 degrees, find the measure of angles 2 to 8. Okay, so ato siyang tagsa-tagsaon. Starting with angle 2. So, angle 2 is equal to 17. How? Nganong 70 degrees? It's because, okay, from the given, we have, from the given, angle 1 and angle 2, it forms a linear pair. And definition of linear pair, or even the linear pair theorem, we have, if two angles form a linear pair, then they are supplementary. So, kay supplementary man sila, meaning the sum is 180. So, kung 180 ang sum, so 180 minus 110, that gives you 70 degrees. Next, we have angle 3 is 110. What makes it 110 degrees? Now, we have angle 1 and angle 3 by vertical angle theorem are vertical angles. So, when they are vertical angles, by vertical angle theorem, they are congruent. So, if angle 1 is 110 degrees, meaning angle 3 is also 110 degrees. Now, next is we have angle 4. Now, what do you think is the measure of angle 4? So, we have, for angle 4, it's equal to 70 degrees. What makes it equal to 70 degrees? Angle 1 and angle form again, dara, it forms a linear pair. So, linear pair, supplementary. Next, angle 5 is 110. What makes it 110? Okay, dara. Angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles, which means they are congruent. So, angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding angles. Next, angle 6. Nganong 70 man si angle 6? O, dara. Angle 2 and angle 6 again are corresponding angles. So, they are congruent. Next is we have, di mo hawa si ma'am. Next is we have angle 7. What makes angle 7 110 degrees? We have angle 3 again. And angle 7 forms our corresponding angles, which means they are congruent. And we have angle 8 and angle 4. Now, observe the answers. If you have noticed, nagbalik-balik ra si 70 ug 110. It's because when we are talking about two parallel lines cut by a transversal, upat ra gyud na ka duha ra gyud na ka measurement sa angle ang imong makitaan. We have the one angle and then its particular supplementary or supplement. So upat ka 70, upat ka 110. Now, how are you going to check your answer? So actually, I remember sa high school time namo is nami gitawag ng murag bitin-bitin. Okay? So, when we are talking about bitin-bitin, example, si number 1, ana daw ay, bubitin, 1, nya 3, nya 5, nya 7. Meaning, the angles nga nag-form og bitin, mo na siya ang equal. So, angle 1, 110, meaning si angle 3, si angle 5, o si angle 7, 110 degrees. O, dara. Angle 3, angle 5, angle 7. And it follows ni 2, 4, 6, 8, o bitin, or letter S. Okay, so letter S, so angle 2 kay 70, so it follows na dayon 4, 6, and 8. So 4, 6, and 8 is also 70. Now, si 110 degrees o si 70 degrees are considered ato ang duha ka supplementary angles. So kana ra yung silang duha. Mo answer gani kag wala ana nilang duha, meaning something wrong gyud ana sa imong answer. Kana ra yung duha, di na masagulan og lain nga measurement. That is if the two lines are parallel ha. Kay if line M and line N is not parallel, then that concept is not applicable. Next, let's have another example or another postulate. The alternate interior angle theorem. So, alternate interior angle theorem, if two lines are parallel and it is cut by a transversal, then alternate interior angles are congruent. Okay. So, for example, you have this illustration. So, observe, akong giusab ang arrangement sa numbering sa angle. Meaning, anak niya, di ka mag-memorize. Sometimes, man good, we try to memorize, ay, si angle 1, si angle kuan, o si angle kuan, o si angle kuan, sila pirmi ang equal. No. It depends kung giunsa pag-arrange ang numbering sa angles dire. So, meaning, dili ka mag-memorize sa measure sa particular angle. But, ang imuhang i-familiarize or memorize is ang relationship between the angles formed by the two parallel lines cut by a transversal o ang relasyon ng imuhang timan-an. So we have from the illustration Angle 2 and angle 6 are alternate interior. Angle 3 and angle 7 are alternate interior angle, which makes them congruent. So let's have an example related to alternate interior angle theorem. So let's have the illustration. In the figure, line M and line N are parallel, cut by a transversal line Q. So if angle 1 is 95 degrees, find the measures of angles 2 to 8. Okay. So we have here, mag-start ko ni angle 2. Nganong 85 si angle 2? Okay, form a linear pair siya ni angle 1. Sunod si angle 3. So ganina, nakadiscuss na corresponding angles. Angle 1 and angle 3 are corresponding angles that makes them congruent. So kay angle 1 is 95. Therefore, si angle 3 is 95. By the way, sa angle 2, how did we get 85? The same. Subtract 95, the given angle, 95 from 180. Sunod si angle 4, nganong 85 man siya. Corresponding angle siya ni angle 2. So, they are congruent. Next, the angle 5 is 95 degrees. Form a linear pair with angle 4. Next, si angle 6 is 85. Its alternate interior angle siya ni angle 2. So, that makes it congruent. Next, si angle 7 is 95. Kay alternate interior angle siya ni angle 3. And lastly, we have angle 8 is supplementary siya ni angle 1 kay they form a linear pair. Now, ibalik na to si S or si bitin. So, ang kabitin or ka-S ni angle 1 is 7, 3, and 5. So, observe. Angle 1 is 95. So, si angle 7, si angle 5, o si angle 3 equal. And we have angle 8. Ang kabitin ni angle 8, 8, 2, 6, 4. So, we have 8, 2, 6, and 4 are equal. Applicable na si bitin sa tanang parallel lines cut by a transversal. Pero dili pwede si bitin sa mga friends nga fake. Joke. Okay. We have here postulates and theorems. So when we are talking about postulates and theorems, we have here alternate exterior angle theorem. Humana si interior, so aray na sa tan exterior. If two lines are parallel and it's cut by a transversal, then alternate exterior angles are congruent. So we have here angle 1. So unsay ka-exterior ni angle 1? Si angle 4. And we have angle 5. Ang ka-exterior ni angle 5 kay si angle 8. Diba? Diretso siya. Next, let's have an example related to that one. So I'm using the same illustration, but this time, tanawa. Nausab na sad ang ilang arrangement. Oh, giusab na sad. Sige ra kung usab-usab sa arrangement. The reason na niya is para makita gyud ninyo ang difference. Nga di gyud kinahanglan memorization, ha. Kinahanglan the relationship between the angles ang imong i-consider. So we have in the figure, angle 1 is 120. Find the measures of angles 2 to 8. Okay, so observe. Kung mudritso kas bitin-bitin, bitin-bitin jud. 1, 2, 3, ug 4 ang nagbitin. So, if angle 1 is 120 degrees, so it follows nga si angle 2 to 4 kay 120. But of course, if we're going to make use of the mathematical concept, na siya condition, ha? Angle 1 and angle 2 are vertical angles, so they are congruent. That is by vertical angle theorem. Angle 1 and angle 3 are corresponding angles. That makes them congruent. And angle 1 and angle 4 are alternate exterior angles. That makes it congruent. Or, sa concept nito og 3, pwede ta mo gamit sa alternate interior angles. So, klaro na. Si angle 5 to angle 8. So, kay supplementary man dapat. So, 180 minus 120, that gives you 80. So, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sorry, it's not 80. 60 degrees. So, 5, 6, 7, 8 is 60 degrees. So, sila sad ang nagbitin. Look. 5, 6, 7, 8. So, sila sad ang nagbitin. So, that makes them congruent. Okay? So, I try to create an evaluation on that one. So, if makaya na to og answer, you may answer. So, for those grade 8 students, nebres from Matsay, kung wala naka-join sa online class ni teacher, answerin ni ninyo. Okay, so answer this one. in any on one whole sheet of paper, and then we have this one. Duha na siya ka-evaluation. So for you to be able to identify or know the given, check your GC na added to gisend ni teacher. So that's it for Parallelism and Perpendicularity, a grade 8 topic for mathematics. Bye-bye!